Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you now game 2 in this series. Symbol has taken game 1, accidentally hit T when I really meant to hit P. Alright, Symbol spawning over here on the bottom right hand side of the map. Symbol taking game 1 in this series with a very impressive counterattack after Killer opened up with a fast pool. We'll see if we see a little bit more straight up play in this matchup as the games do get underway. And Symbol now riding very comfortably with a 1-0 lead. Now, obviously in this racial matchup, there is no map imbalances. Both players are playing Zerg versus Zerg, so can't really say that this map favors one player over the other in terms of race, but there could be an advantage in terms of play style. I'm assuming that both of these players are of very high caliber, as I have casted them in the past. And with that, they should be able to adapt their playstyle based upon this rather short running distance between these two bases. Now, one thing that I have still yet to see is anyone really utilize the center brush here. The reason why the center brush is not that all effective is because that center brush is normally good for launching surprise attacks, except the Xel'Naga towers easily reveal into that location. So what's the reasoning behind even looking into this center brush, or trying to hide in the center brush when it is so easy to gain sight of it anyways? So far the builds look very similar, 15/18 for both players. I believe that Killer actually had a small advantage, perhaps a slight difference between Overlord timings, as we are going into hatcheries now being placed down by both teams, or both players. Killer opting to go for a much more traditional build this time, same thing with Symbol. And there are destructible rocks on the back door here, so both players should be able to take down these rocks and go ahead and establish their third fairly easily. All you have to do is just take up a little bit more of a higher choke point, or you can just try to defend here and well. With creep, it is easy to run in between these two bases, as we now finally see our first variation. Symbol going for an early pool, meanwhile Killer going into extractor pool after a 15 hatch. Meaning that Killer is going to have a little bit more gas for him. And what is this? Killer is going to... actually, no, Symbol is going to have more gas. Killer slightly behind there. Killer taking a quick look around with this Overlord, being very gutsy with this Overlord, considering the fact that Queens could already be out. But because of the timing, and because he knows that this hatchery just came down, he knows that there is no Queen currently in play. Same thing from Symbol. Symbol spotted the hatchery and now made a straight move over here towards this hatchery as well. He's going to simply fly over, gain sight. He's looking at the extractor, trying to figure out the timing, and knows when exactly his opponent should have metabolic boost, as he has more gas pulling from this extractor than his opponent. Metabolic boost should be started right about now. There we go. As the Overlord down over here, we'll see if it does a little bit of an Overseer transformation and takes a look at these other Vespene geysers. Drones now making their way down here. We are going into 2 queens for each of the players. The queens look to already be out for Killer since he did go for that spawning pool first. Metabolic boost will be out slightly faster for Symbol, but that is not going to really translate into very much, as by the time he runs up there, his opponent will also have metabolic boost as well. So a slight advantage, I would say, for Killer, since he does have queens out faster. With that larva, he should have better production and perhaps even better creep tumor spread for faster sight on his opponents. Now, Overlord's going to be flying into position. They want to scout out and make sure that if any units are coming in, that they are able to respond and react accordingly. Killer training up a lot more drones at this time, but he is slightly behind in terms of the drone count, 25-28. So somehow Symbol, nope, never mind. Oh, they're gonna be bouncing back and forth in terms of that drone advantage. 32 now to 32, as both players are going very heavy on that drone count, and Killer now opting to go for a second extractor, and both players getting that second extractor at another base. And oh, a beautiful play by Symbol here, getting 2 queens, and the 2 queens was able to bounce that Overlord between the main base and the natural expansion and actually shot him down. Symbol still sitting with this Overlord here. He has spotted the additional gas now being taken at the natural expansion as we are going into level 1 weapons, level 1 range weapons upgrade for Symbol, meaning that roaches should be coming out shortly. Now, the only curious question I have is, there's no Roach Warren. I don't spot. So let me double check this. Yes, Symbol is the one getting the level 1 range weapons upgrade, and now finally getting that Roach Warren. And interesting timing that both of these players are going for very similar builds. It's just that the order in which they're doing so is very, very different. Now let's take a look at Symbol. Symbol is upgrading to tier 2. We are already at tier 2 for Killer, which means that the Glio Reconstitution should be faster for Killer, as we also see Killer establishing his 3rd. Now Killer, he may have seen this Overlord when he moved out with this drone, but most likely not, unless he was paying very careful attention. And Symbol now knows that he can establish his own 3rd just seconds behind as well. 53 drones versus 43 drones, but we see the difference in larva count in 18 versus 16 Zerglings now making their way out. Some Banelings are going to be positioning themselves, and if the Banelings can actually detonate on those Zerglings, that would be huge. It looks like Symbol has a little bit of scouting information, and now the Zerglings are going to be running straight down in over here, and these Banelings may be able to get off some huge hits. This could be very, very strange news, as wait a second, wait for it, there you go, 1 Baneling, 2 Banelings. And that was some beautiful hits there, as Symbol should be able to clean up the rest of the Zerglings here. A very nice hit, very defensive oriented Banelings, as we now have Killer moving back with this Overseer to gain a little bit of scouting information. Roaches are destroying the destructible rocks over here. Apparently the Roaches don't know that they can walk around this Roach Warren and take it down. Zerglings now trying to counter off the other player's hatchery off over here. That's not going to work, as the Overseer is still getting a lot of scouting information, and we're going into heavy drones, more queens, and also an infestation pit by Symbol. I haven't seen a tier 2 choice yet coming in from Killer. Baneling's Nest, Glio Reconstitution, level 2 weapons upgrade. Killer will have superior upgrades and may be able to attack at a very strong timing, as the Roaches are already walking down the field. Drones now doing a bit of, nope, not long distance mining, just some long distance transferring to the main base, as the Roaches are now coming up the front door. This could be bad news, and here we go. The Roaches are going to try to engage. 1 Spine Crawler. Are we going to get some transfuses is the question. The Spine Crawlers are about to be completed, but the Roaches are going to be coming at a very strong time. More Roaches are trying to engage, but a better concave by Killer, so more units are engaging at a time. The Spine Crawlers are finally engaging back once more. More Roaches are coming in. Another Spine Crawler falls, but it looks like Symbol will be able to hold off this attack. But what is he going to do, as the Roaches are now going to come off over here? 1 poor Roach hatched from the wrong hatchery, as now the units are now trying to make their way in. Symbol needs to be very careful. More Roaches are going to be engaging here, and oh, what is this? Killer getting caught just too far in, as the Roaches of Symbol now in superior numbers coming out ahead, taking down more units, and it looks as though Symbol has the Glio Reconstitution. Killer does not, even though he teched to tier 2 first. And this is going to be a huge advantage, as Symbol can now just simply pull away, perhaps move away with the lower hit point Roaches and engage with the higher hit point Roaches, as we are now seeing some drones being transferred. Alright, we should see an attack coming from Symbol in just a moment. Symbol does have the drone advantage, 64 to 56. More Roaches coming out from Symbol, as well as level 2 weapons upgrade coming in from Killer and Symbol. Glio Reconstitution still some time away for Killer, but I don't believe an engagement will be happening in the next 50 seconds. So we are about even in terms of overall unit counts and upgrades. Queens now being trained by Killer once again. Overlords are getting in position. You can see this line of Roaches making their way across the map, and both sides with Roaches trying to protect and trying to engage at the same time here. Roaches are now going to be coming in 1-0 upgrades, and here we go. Roaches are going to engage, now pulling back. The Roaches that were on the creep able to do a little bit more kiting as Killer with 2-0 upgrades. Symbol quickly realizing this, realizes that he cannot engage in that fight. He cannot give a straight DPS advantage on those with those Roaches, as those Roaches are essentially dealing, I believe the calculation comes out to be about 7% more damage, or 7 to 10%, or actually no, it's 12% more damage per attack. Infestors do come down, and fungal growths are laid. That is going to be some very, very nice fungal growths, as Killer now trying to just walk in here, and another fungal could be coming in again. We still have one fungal growth, wondering what the timing and what they are waiting for at this point, as Symbol could have just been adding more and more DPS here. Symbol, more Roaches coming in. Here we go, more Roaches trying to engage. There is that other fungal growth once more, as the Roaches are coming back in from the top. Symbol with just that slightly added DPS, as Killer realizes that that was too much of an advantage and gives the GG. So Symbol with very, very effective infestors, only 3 infestors able to add in the extra DPS. That extra DPS dealing, I believe, 40 damage, and 40 damage to multiple Roaches gives him the victory there. Not quite sure why he didn't cast that earlier. And I think if Symbol was more on top of his game, he would have cast a fungal on 3 separate areas and take them down. If you can take down the units earlier and faster, your overwhelming momentum will be able to carry it through. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.